Hello, everyone, and welcome to Big Rodge Talks Hardball. I'm Roger Wilkinson, and great to have you the day before Thanksgiving. And I know a lot of you are in shutdown mode, enjoying your holiday season before you fire back up next week and start pushing hard for the upcoming season. All of you high school guys, it's a good time to get a little bit of rest in. You're about to have a long haul starting in January, so you have to prep in December. Then you got a pretty long haul January through the high school season, then the summer season, then a little bit of break. Then you've got showcases, camps, and some fall baseball leading back around. So right now, most of you are getting in some rest and some weight training and some speed and agility work and all those things to improve your skill sets. Mix in a little defense every day. It never hurts. We always like to put about 20 minutes of work in on defense every day, even if we're not throwing, so that we can enhance our defensive skill sets. That's one of the biggest things I see at the parks today, is the defense is lacking at a lot of levels of high school games. So today we're going to be talking about NCAA Division II recruiting, which is much different than Division I. So let's just start from the top so that we understand the differences between Division I and Division II. Division I has 11.7 scholarships. Division II has 9. Division I gives you money based on percentage of scholarships. Division II gives you money based on dollar amounts. Usually they have a pool of money that adds up to 9 scholarships, and they can spread that around amongst however many players that they want to. Now, there's no roster limits at the Division II level, so if they want to carry 40 or 50 players, they can. There are some rules that once you get into the playoffs, I think maybe 27 can travel. When they get to the conference tournaments and they get to those areas of the NCAA playoffs and those type things. And so it works a lot different. The Division II level coaches are not restricted with all the dead periods. I think the only real dead period they have was the signing week, like November 11th through the 15th, and they can get out other times. So it gives them a little bit of an advantage on seeing players versus the big boys, and it gives them a chance, because it's a tough recruiting grind if you're a Division II coach. Now, here in the state of Georgia, we have some outstanding programs. You have Columbus State, which is always a national perennial power. Georgia College and State. North Georgia has as good of facilities as anybody in the country at the Division II level. Border states right here, you got USC Aiken, really good facilities. Augusta University starting to ramp up their facilities and put them back in the game in the Peach Belt Conference, which is a very good league. And I want you guys to understand something. If a Division II coach calls you, do not turn your nose up at these guys. It's really good baseball. There are some tremendously good players at the Division II level. I don't think any Division I team wants to play the University of Tampa, because they come rolling in and they've usually got 13 or 14 draft picks on that team. And so don't feel like Division II baseball is sliding your abilities. Many times it's way better than you thought, and you're going to have to really bust it to even compete on teams at that level. Division II baseball, if you watch the higher level teams, is really good. So what are they looking for? So here's what's happening at the Division II level, and it's making it a little more difficult for the high school kid to get their attention, because here's some recruiting avenues where their pipeline of players come from. Division II coaches now are really hammering this transfer portal, and these are guys that might have played at the University of Georgia, or Georgia Southern, or Mercer, and they didn't work out, and they're looking to leave. And so they enter their name in the transfer portal, and now they're available to go down to the Division II level without having to sit out. Now, sometimes these guys get hardships and they don't have to sit out at any level, but they don't have to sit out if they move down. So what you'll see is Division II coaches scouring through the transfer portal looking to find information on players. I get a lot of calls from Division II coaches looking for transfers. And so it makes that league very tough because now you're in an old man league, what I call it. I had the opportunity to coach in that league for a season, and I started realizing, man, it's tough for an 18-year-old to play in this league because all the players are 21 and they've been to 2 or 3 schools and they're pretty tough-minded guys, and it's a hard league for a young player. And I think the coaches have started figuring that out to where it's a tough league for freshmen to come in and play unless they're extremely talented. And so what happens is maybe they cannot attract that super talented freshman because he thinks he's a Division I player, and so the kid goes to XYZ big university and it doesn't work out, and he comes back to them on a rebound. So the recruiters do a great job of staying in touch with those guys. Former Armstrong coach before that program went down, Brian English, was really good at that. He was a recruiting coordinator at Armstrong Atlantic, and he was really good at following up on guys even if they had signed with a big school, because a lot of times he'd catch them on the rebound and get them down to Armstrong the second time around, which was a smart strategy. And so also they really are heavy on getting junior college players. So they go out and they sign transfer portal guys, they sign junior college players. And so one of the best routes to getting to the D2 level is to go through the junior college level and get on the field a couple seasons to make yourself more marketable as you move up the ladder to the D2, because they do sign a ton of junior college transfers. But what do you do if you're a high school player? Well, if you're a high school player that's maybe a fringy guy, let's say your tools are fringy for Georgia Southern or Georgia or Mercer or Georgia State or Kennesaw State, they're probably good enough to be on the team at one of those levels but maybe not getting the lineup, then I would take a serious look at going out the D2 route. Now, again, most of the schools in our state don't even have the full 9 scholarship allotment. Most of them are dealing with money for 5. And so they have to spread that money out. But what happens is if they give you, I don't know, $2,000, $3,000, you got the Hope Scholarship, you're going to get, enough money. I wouldn't let the money come into play. I would look at getting on the field being 1. 2, is this a place I'd like to go to school if I wasn't playing baseball? 3, do my academics match up to that institution as far as the major I want to be in? Because we know how hard it is to make it to the professional level. Now, in the Peach Belt Conference, they always have 7 or 8 guys drafted every year, so it does happen. But understand, every route is difficult, and so being a position player to D2 is even more difficult. So what I would do is make sure some of these things match up, and even if you don't get any money, take a shot at one of these teams so that you can get at least a chance to get on the field. So I would look at these options. If I'm a fringy D1 player, well, I'd love to get on the field and play every night at a D2. We had a player a few years ago, Connor Hoover, signed with North Georgia. Really, I think it might have been his only offer. And he became, all-conference player there and drafted in the 18th, 19th round, signed with the Seattle Mariners, and he's still playing pro ball. So there are routes to pro ball from D2. And there are really good players at the D2 level, and there's some really good coaches in our state at these D2 schools, and they do a good job of developing talent. So I would take a hard look at the D2 level. Again, it's not a money thing, it's more of a fit for where my talents take me and the school I'd like to go to if I wasn't playing baseball, so that I can find myself in a position to get on the field. This gives you a little bit of info on D2 baseball. You can check out the NCAA.com or .org, I believe it is, and get more information on the requirements. But I'll go over this some more later on in another day. Hope you guys, man, have a great Thanksgiving. We'll look forward to talking again on Friday. You have a great day. God bless you, and we'll see you soon.